Hello, everyone. It's been a while. I thought it'd be fun to just kind of go down this list that you got in the email and give you some real world examples of what exactly I mean. Now, if you're not into long winded stories and examples, maybe this isn't the video for you. But if you are, stay tuned. This is, a lifetime of experience. I compiled this list and then I kept adding to it and adding to it. I'm finally to the point where I think I've covered everything I need to cover. So we'll just start at the top and go down. You ready? Number one, when all else fails, reboot. Folks, this is true of absolutely everything, especially smart TVs. I'm getting a lot of calls about issues with smart TVs. And I've had to tell my customers, you need to unplug it. And they say, oh, I've turned it off and back on again. I said, no, it's not enough to turn these things off with the power button. Sometimes you have to reach back, and I would say most of the time, reach down, unplug the power cord, and let it sit for about a minute, and then plug it back in. And 9 times out of 10, this will resolve a lot of issues with cable boxes, smart TVs, even a microwave. I mean, your microwave gives you trouble, unplug that SOB and let it sit for a minute. Problem solved. If it still doesn't work after that, then give me a call. But if you call any computer store or if you call your internet company, while you're waiting on hold, you will hear them say, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and restart, reboot everything, restart your router, go ahead and restart the computer just to, cross it off the list. Um, Anyway, next point is, if you think you need to buy software, call me first. I'm shocked at how many people, just think, oh, you're supposed to go buy software. Most things are free these days. I even had folks buy Windows 10. And for those of you who don't understand why that's such a shocker, it's free. Windows 10 has always been free. So why somebody would go out and spend $100 if they don't have to doesn't make a lot of sense. And of course, Microsoft's not going to volunteer, like, still free. But they'll be glad to sell it to you. Um, Now, there are some things you just have to pay for. If you want QuickBooks, you got to pay for it. I don't recommend QuickBooks, but some people have to use it for different reasons. Photoshop is another good example. If you want the real deal, you've got to buy Photoshop. There are some free alternatives out there. Give me a call and I'll point you in the right direction. And if you don't like it, then you can go cough up $300, $400, $500. I don't know what Photoshop costs, but there it is. Next one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So much of my job stems from folks fixing things that were never broken in the first place. Real world example, upgrades. Windows 11 just came out. There's a lot of folks that think they need it and they find out the hard way they don't. And it still has a lot of kinks. The experts, as I said in my last video, I know it's been about 6 months now, but you don't need it. And it really is a case of fixing something that wasn't broken. So if it's working fine, leave it alone. Next one, the KISS principle. I'm shocked how many full-grown adults have never heard of the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. And I try to live my life by this principle. Life's complicated enough. Keep things simple. Like Einstein said, everything should be as simple as possible, but not simpler. Funny guy. And the example I used here was wireless anything. And wireless is not simple by any stretch. I mean, if you knew what was happening on the back end of wireless technology, it's actually pretty complicated. And it has nowhere to go but down. A wireless mouse can be troublesome. Wireless internet can be troublesome. So if you can avoid it and just run a cable, I know people don't like cables and cords, but they're kind of a necessary evil because the trade-off is fighting with wireless technology constantly. I could give you countless examples of keeping it simple, but if it seems kind of complicated, I mean, even a sound bar. I've had folks go get a sound bar for their TV, opposite of the KISS principle. It's not simple. You're adding one more thing to go wrong, and it will go wrong. And I've explained to countless folks, your sound bar is going to stop working one day and you're not going to have sound, and you have to call somebody like me to basically come over and push one or two buttons and it's fixed. But anyway, moving on. Less is more. Here's another philosophy I live by. The example I used here was, the fewer programs on your computer, the more memory, the more processing power you're going to have. So try to keep things not just simple, but also slim down. This is especially true with third-party antivirus programs, and we're going to get to that next. You do not need to install antivirus. I know for the last 20, 25 years, we've been taught you buy a computer and you get antivirus. You buy a computer, you get antivirus. That's necessary anymore. It's just not necessary for several reasons. Number one, I ask all of my customers the following question: when was the last time your antivirus actually detected a virus? And they all give me this look. I say, stop right there. You just answered my question. Don't even have to say anything more. The answer is never, for most people. Uh, if you have to stop and think about it, the answer is never. And I can attest to that. I mean, I think the last time I actually saw, let alone removed a virus, was probably 8, 9 years ago. They're not extinct, but they are definitely on the endangered species list. Viruses are honestly the least of your concerns. What gets most people into trouble these days are scams and junk software. An antivirus is not going to stop you from installing junk to your own computer. It's not going to stop you from falling for a scam. Furthermore, Windows 10 was the first version of Windows to have really good antivirus built right in. So you don't need to buy McAfee or Norton or AVG or Avast or Kaspersky. Pick an antivirus. But old habits die hard. I've helped folks save a lot of money. I say, okay, look, you've already paid for it. Let's cut your losses and at least cancel the automatic renewal, because it will charge you again year after year for a program that you just don't need. Moving on, get an external hard drive or a flash drive or something and back up your files. Folks, you do not want to learn the hard way. I have seen full-grown men cry because they lost everything. They absolutely lost everything. Their hard drive crashed. They didn't have a backup. Data recovery specialist says, even we can't get these files off your hard drive. Irreplaceable family photos are lost forever. But it's a simple fix. For most people, I tell them, tiny little 64 gig flash drive plugged into their computer, flip on that Windows backup, or if you're on a Mac, you've got the Time Machine. Peace of mind for $20, $25. Again, your hard drive, as I wrote here, will die someday. You put all your eggs in one basket, and that basket, catches on fire or drops. You get the idea. Please don't learn the hard way. I hate being the bearer of bad news. Write down your passwords on one sheet of paper. Huge issue with me, because I think the problem has such a simple solution. The mistake folks make is they will store all their passwords on little sticky notes. They have it on one sheet of paper, but it's all messed up, and they have passwords written down, but it doesn't say what the password goes to. I could tell you horror stories. I could tell you horror stories about people storing their passwords on their iPhone or their iPad. And then that iPad crashes and they lose all their passwords. This would be like storing the combination to your safe in the safe. You see the problem there? A sheet of paper will not crash. A sheet of paper, yeah, you could lose it, but if you keep it in a safe place, you won't really have to worry about it. It cannot get hacked. I have a sheet of paper. I keep it in my wallet, and I use it almost every day. And I pull it out and I look at it, and it's starting to fall apart. I probably need to reprint it, but it has saved my butt so many times. The problem with little password books is that, if I'm at a customer's house and I say, okay, we need your Wi-Fi password. Well, they go get their little book out and they look at the W for Wi-Fi, not there. Well, maybe I put it under I for internet, not there. X for Xfinity, not there. You get the idea. They're flipping through pages, and we never find it. Now, you compare that to one sheet of paper, you can just go down the list pretty quickly and easily and go, okay, there it is. I wrote it under C for Comcast, but it's right there front and center, and we don't have to hunt for it. So do yourself a favor, spend a day, an afternoon, taking all your passwords and writing them down. Amazon, your password, your bank, your username. Banks don't use your email address for your username. They usually have a unique username. You're going to want to write that down as well. And then your password, Facebook, email address, password, and so on and so forth. It will save your butt, trust me. Treat your computer like you would any expensive equipment. I know this sounds like a no-brainer, but you would be amazed how many people treat their computers like crap, and it shows. I have folks who are constantly breaking their laptop screens. Their laptop looks like it's been through 2 tours in Afghanistan, and you just kind of go, how does this happen? Why is it so cracked and broken? And there's breadcrumbs all over it. It seems like a no-brainer, but really, I think people are a little too rough with their laptops, their tablets, their smartphones. They kind of toss them around, and then they wonder why they're broken. Treat it like the expensive piece of equipment that it is, and it'll last a lot longer. Last one, and this is the most important one. I saved the best for last. If it sounds too good or too bad to be true, it is. I've warned folks and warned folks and warned folks for years. I've done at least a dozen videos about scams, to the extent that I kind of just took a break. It seems like my advice was falling on deaf ears, because even my own subscribers to this newsletter have been falling for scams. And I think to myself, what more do I need to do? So the best advice I can give anyone is, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. For example, nobody's coming and calling. Nobody's going to call you and say, we're going to give you a refund. That's a common scam. If it sounds too bad to be true, it probably is. Real world example, for the first time, I've been doing this for 17 years as of this month. I actually caught a customer in the act of falling for a scam the other day. I was on a house call, and I was working with the husband in the office, fixing the computer, answering questions, and I heard the wife in the other room on the phone talking to someone about, I have this receipt for a purchase I didn't make, and I'd like to get that canceled. And I looked at her husband and I said, your wife is getting scammed right now. So we got up, ran into the other room. His wife was sitting there on the couch. She had her iPad in her lap with the fake receipt right there on the screen. And she was on the phone with who she believed was Amazon. And I looked at the email just to be sure. And I looked at the wife, and keep in mind, I had just met these people. I mean, they're new customers, but I had to take a little executive, what's the word there? Make an executive decision. And I said, ma'am, this is a scam. Hang up the phone. And of course, she looked at me like, what are you talking about? She really thought she was talking to Amazon. I said, ma'am, this is a scam. I will explain in a minute, but you need to hang up the phone. And I went over the email and I showed her why it was a fake receipt. And the email was from the actual email address was like maryjo2@gmail.com. And I said, ma'am, do you really think Amazon's going to email you from maryjo2@gmail.com? Anyway, it was quite a learning lesson. And honestly, the damnedest timing. I mean, the odds of being there right there when somebody falls for a scam is slim to none. But they were very grateful. They learned a good lesson. But again, if it sounds too bad to be true, stop and think. If you really really think there's been a purchase on your Amazon account, just as an example, don't call the 800 number in the email. Go to your Amazon account and look at your purchase history. The thing I see again and again is that when folks get scared, they get panicked, they stop thinking, and they don't think to go and call their bank and see, did this transaction really occur? It's not the favorite part of my job. It actually kind of wears on me, but I guess I should just be grateful for the job security. I've talked about scams, and I didn't want this video to be about scams again. I've said all I can say about it, but again, if it sounds too good or too bad to be true, it probably is. And if you have any doubts, call me, call the bank, call another computer shop, and they will tell you again and again, ma'am, sir, that's a scam. You did the right thing. Now, if they call back again, just hang up on them. Anyway, I could go on and on. I think you get the idea. Please, I hope you'll print this out and just keep it by the computer. It really is the best advice I can give you about computers. I'm sure I'm missing a few things, and if you have any ideas for future newsletters, please shoot me a reply. I love to hear from folks. I haven't heard from a lot of folks in a while, but I haven't done one of these videos in a while either. So thanks for watching, and I'll try to keep up with these videos a little more often. Bye.